If you want a revolution, the only solution, evolve. You gotta evolve. If you want a revolution, the only solution, evolve. You gotta evolve. If you're getting off track and you wanna get back, may take a lot of work, won't break your back. If you want a revolution, the only solution, evolve. You gotta evolve. Well, there once was a guy who couldn't jump high till he focused in.
Hi, and welcome to Out of the Blue. Tonight, I'm going to be taking a look at the Walt Disney version of Alice in Wonderland. So the packaging of Alice is okay. It's your standard Disney packaging for a Blu-ray disc. You have your sleeve here that basically pulls off, which shows the same artwork inside as it did on the sleeve. So it's the front and the back. It tells you basically what you're getting here, up here in the corner. And it's your standard, like I said, Disney Blu-ray. It opens like all Blu-ray movies do, little latch. So you got your Blu-ray movie over here. You can spin it around. Alright, so you got your Blu-ray movie over here. And you actually have a regular version of it over here. This was the original 60th Anniversary Edition that had came out. The few extras that are on disc 2, as you can read right here, are some of the deleted scenes, Pig and the Pepper, Reflections on Alice, and the Virtual Wonderland Party. Those are the only 3 things that are actually on the non-standard Blu-ray. Okay, so let's get right to it, and here are all the extras on this Blu-ray disc. The menu is actually pretty bright and colorful, and it does show clips from the movie, but you know, it does repeat after a few seconds. I mean, it's a cool looking menu. The first big extra here is called Through the Keyhole, A Companion's Guide to Wonderland. Now, this is like the first extra you come to at Backstage Disney, and also it's the most impressive and probably the biggest extra on this entire Blu-ray disc. Let's take a look at it and I'll show you what it is. So while there is a making of Alice in Wonderland on here, this is basically like almost a documentary through the entire movie. And this is absolutely the best documentary that so far that Disney has released on Blu-ray or regular DVD. I mean, this is just absolutely amazing. As you can see, they have like historians and experts on the movie popping up through the entire movie. Of course, you know, you don't want to watch a movie like this, but when you want to see the bonus features, you turn this on and it's just amazing. The amount of information here is pretty staggering.
With Alice in Wonderland, you have a completely different case. You have a story that was already absolutely well known and absolutely rooted in relationship to the author who wrote it, Lewis Carroll. And I think to understand the film and to understand the story it's based on, you have to also understand the man who wrote it.
I'm Morton Cohen, and I have specialized in teaching and writing about Victorian literature. Charles Lutwidge Dodson.
Charles Lutwidge Dodson was the tutor of mathematics at Christ Church, Oxford, the oldest and most illustrious of the Oxford colleges. But he had another side to his life, a side that was full of creativity and wit and amusement. And that was the world embodied by this non-existent character, Lewis Carroll.
So not only do they talk about the movie itself, they actually talk about the author of the book. And as you can see, they show the pictures from the author and pictures from the original drawings in the book. And I mean, there's everything on this. It's literally absolutely incredible to watch this. So next is reference footage, Alice and the Doorknob. And you can actually watch it with the commentary by Catherine Beaumont, and I believe that's the original Alice in Wonderland, and she'll talk through it, or you can either watch it with it on or off. So actually we'll go ahead and watch it with it on.
I was not only the voice of Alice, but I also played Alice in a special process called live action reference.
What the reference footage is they actually recorded live footage of the actors for their animation So all the artists would sit around and draw inspiration from the way the live actors moved, and then they could incorporate that into the movie. So the reference footage of Alice and the Doorknob only lasts less than 30 seconds. So it's interesting to watch, but yeah, it's not a necessity on this disc to watch. The next extra is called Pencil Test Alice Shrinks. Much like the live action footage of Alice and the Doorknob, this is actually just a pencil test of when she drinks out of the bottle and shrinks down. And again, it's only probably 30 seconds long. So, I mean, it's interesting if you're into animation and you want to see the animation and how they did it with the pencil test. But other than that, I would say you could pretty much skip this. The other extra on the disc is called Family Play. And again, it's nothing really that spectacular. Basically, what it is Walt Disney's color TV introduction in 1959 to when he debuted Alice in Wonderland on television for the first time. And this introduction isn't anything great either. It only lasts less than a minute, and basically he just talks a little bit about the movie, and that's pretty much it. So this is another skip. Now we have what's called Games and Activities. This is an actual game that you can play on your Blu-ray player, and it's mostly for, you know, kids, but some adults might enjoy it. So let's take a look at it. So the object of the game is you want to select one of your cards here. So we'll go ahead and select this one. And you have a paintbrush which you maneuver around with the arrows on your controller. And the object of the game is to try to figure out which rose to paint red, because once you paint a rose red, then some of the other roses actually turn white again. In the upper right hand corner, you have a card there that has 3 roses under it. And if you get stumped on the tree, you go down to the lower left hand corner, which is your options, and you basically can go and click on your options, and you can have music off, reset, a hint, level selection, and help, or just quit. But if you come down here to hint and you click on it, it gives you a hint as to what the next move on your tree should be. But every time you ask for a hint, one of your flowers up here disappears. And if you use all 3 flowers, then you can't advance to the next stage. So as you keep playing, the levels get harder and harder, and you can advance up to several stages. We only played through 3. So it's an entertaining game. I would recommend maybe trying to play it once or twice, but it's something you get really bored with within probably half an hour or so. But, you know, it's worth playing at least once. So that's pretty much it for the new features on the Blu-ray. So what we have next is called the Classic DVD Bonus Features. And basically what these are the same extras that were on the previously released regular DVD of Alice in Wonderland. There's quite a lot of these, so if you've never actually bought the original Alice in Wonderland and been waiting for the Blu-ray, these would all be new to you, and there's quite a lot of it here. So the first one is called Reflections on Alice. Basically what Reflections on Alice is almost like Through the Keyhole, except not anywhere as cool as the other feature. If you're going to watch one or the other, I highly recommend watching Through the Keyhole. I mean, Reflections on Alice is good, but there's a lot of repeats from the same thing that you've already heard on the extras of Through the Keyhole. If you had one or the other to choose, Through the Keyhole is the definitive one to watch.
And he gradually expanded the story and wrote Alice's Adventures Underground, which he hand wrote and illustrated himself as a present for Alice Little, the middle sister. And then that was expanded to form the Alice in Wonderland and subsequently Alice Through the Looking Glass.
The next extra is what's called Operation Wonderland. What Operation Wonderland is kind of like a behind the scenes, and it's kind of weird, you know, Walt Disney's like riding around on a miniature train showing this guy the studio, what they're working on at the time, which of course is Alice in Wonderland. So this is kind of like a promotional video they did before the movie came out, and it's actually worth watching. I mean, it's kind of bizarre and weird, but you know, they do show some cool behind-the-scenes stuff while they're making the movie. So, yeah, I would recommend this feature.
Now, I was to see how Alice in Wonderland was coming to life for the screen. Here on this stage, Disney artists and writers were very busy working out the walrus and carpenter sequence from the story.
Next on our extras is what's called I'm Odd, a newly discovered Cheshire Cat song. Now, I think the Cheshire Cat is a lot of people's favorite character in this movie. And actually, this song is pretty cool, and I'm not really sure why they decided to cut out the song itself. But, yeah, this is absolutely worth watching. I mean, if you're a fan of the Cheshire Cat and just a fan of, you know, Disney music, absolutely watch this. I mean, it's really well done.
When I was just a kitten, they said I'd be a gem. But now that I'm a Cheshire Cat, it's odd how odd I am.
Through the Mirror, the Mickey Mouse animated short. Through the Mirror is basically a version of Alice in Wonderland. As you can see, the book's right there even that he's reading. So, I mean, it's a really awesome animated short. And of course, it's Mickey Mouse, and it's just absolutely worth watching. So next we come to what I found out to be probably the weirdest thing on this entire disc. This is just bizarre. It's called 1 Hour in Wonderland. Again, this looks like probably, you know, around Christmas they release this, obviously, since it says holiday greetings. And this is actually a Coca-Cola commercial that you're watching here, and it's just, the whole thing is weird. I mean, it's weird from beginning to end, but, I mean, I guess they did that because the Alice in Wonderland story is so strange itself. But basically, this, whatever you want to call it, it's a good 30 minutes long, 40 minutes long. It's not short whatsoever. And it stars Edgar Bergen, who has like a, at the time I guess he was a very popular ventriloquist, and his dummy was called Charlie McCarthy. And anyone who kind of watches this now, you know, they just kind of, I guess at the time they made it, this guy was popular enough to where it wasn't that weird. But now it's just watching it, the whole thing is just bizarre. The entire thing is weird.
Now, look, Birdie. Can't this clam bake wait? I have an important meeting with the junior hot rodders.
Well, we've been invited to a tea party at the Walt Disney studio.
A tea party is holy mackerel. I thought that stuff went out with the bustle.
As you can see how weird this is, basically what happens, this guy gets in his car, he goes to the Walt Disney Studios, and he meets up with Walt Disney, who's having a tea party, and there's a bunch of kids there, and the original Alice, who was in, you know, the inspiration of drawing her, the live-action Alice, was there. And all of a sudden, there's a magic mirror that appears.
Oh, slave in the magic mirror, come from a farther space.
How hammy can you get? Do you girls know this character, Disney?
Yes, he's our father.
Oh. Ooh.
Through wind and rain and hail I summon thee. Let me see your face. I am here, master.
And there's one point during this where the guy with the puppet, Edgar Bergen, wanted to see the animators. So Walt Disney calls upon the magic mirror to show the animators in the studio. And just to show you how goofy and weird this is what happens.
If you want a revolution, the only solution, evolve. You gotta evolve. If you want a revolution, the only solution, evolve. You gotta evolve. If you're getting off track and you wanna get back, may take a lot of work, won't break your back. If you want a revolution.